From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome tonight. PDP appeals panel reverses disqualification of Adamawa's acting governor from contesting in the state's governorship, approves his candidacy. Federal government raises hopes of ending rice importation, says it will stop in the next 3 to 4 years. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola condemns abandonment of Apapa Railway Terminal, promises to lodge a formal complaint with the federal government. And Russian President Vladimir Putin seeks talks to discuss statehood for eastern Ukraine. We begin tonight with what looks like rekindled hope for the acting governor of Adamawa State, Alhaji Umaru Fintiri, barely 24 hours after the party shut its doors against him in the governorship contest in the state. Another panel upturned the disqualification of the acting governor, giving him a green light to run. Our correspondent Omelogo Nadi tells us more.
To hand over the certificate.
Reprieve for the Adamawa State acting governor Umaru Fintiri as he was cleared by the ruling party's appeal panel to vie for the governorship ticket. Quite unlike the previous day, the atmosphere at the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party was somber as a few supporters of the acting governor, disqualified from participating in the party primaries, sat around awaiting the decision of an appeal panel on his fate. Umaru Fintiri appealed the decision of the screening committee, which barred him from participating in the primaries, and expressed optimism that justice will prevail.
Definitely, I will go back because I know justice will be given to me, and I will go tomorrow and start campaigning because this is what the Adamawa people have asked me to come and do. And I think if they grant my appeal, I will go and start campaigning, and inshallah, I will emerge the candidate of the party.
After 2 hours of deliberation, the appeal panel, made up of all zonal chairmen of the party, made a unanimous decision to let the acting governor participate.
We, as members of the appeal panel, we have looked at issues, and particularly we have also taken a critical look, not just at the constitutional provision, the entire gamut of the Constitution of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and we have come to the irresistible conclusion that the provision as quoted by the screening panel does not affect the appellant.
The acting governor was relieved by this decision, saying he has the backing of his people to run for elections.
Most of them were not happy when I was denied the opportunity to participate in this election yesterday. And I can tell you it's a decision of all of them that they were not happy for the yesterday's decision of the screening panel. And I can assure you that all of us are going to work together for the victory of this party.
He said the primaries is the first stage of the contest and promised to put in his best to represent his people. With the clearance of the acting governor, the number of PDP aspirants for governorship primaries has risen to 14. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the Niger East senatorial election inconclusive. While announcing the results of the polling units as cancelled, the returning officer, Professor Wole Morenikeji, said it was necessary because of the violence and irregularities recorded in 7 polling units across the 4 local government areas of the state. He, however, said a rerun of elections in the affected polling units is scheduled to hold on Saturday, September the 6th.
Peaceful conduct of the poll, at least that is largely what the reports reveal across the 9 local government areas which make up the Niger East Senatorial District. the time of accreditation to the time of the voting pauper, there were no reports of violence. Although it rained in some parts of the district during the polls, which restricted the electoral process in some areas under the canopies. In some places, there were low voters turnout and ad hoc officials had a restful day. In some other areas, voters were seen battling to find their names on the register. This perhaps may be one of the major concerns for some of the electorate.
So many people came and they lost their card, and there was no any opportunity or any arrangement for such people to have their own votes. So such people just came and they went back. But the election properly is peacefully and is very, very okay.
After the voting, the results were compiled and thereafter they were taken to the INEC office where everyone waited to know the outcome of the poll.
APC 84,698. 84,698. APGA 2,099. 2099. PDP 89,640.
Results read and the possible winner based on the figures may be obvious, but then it appears there is a big issue here.
In view of the fact that the number of votes in places where elections did not take place and where the results were cancelled is higher than the difference in votes obtained by the two leading candidates, the result is hereby declared inconclusive.
The determination of the person who will fill the vacant seat in the Niger East Senatorial District is on hold, at least until the supplementary elections are conducted. Until that time, the parties, their candidates, and even INEC may have more work on their hands. Sheung Okimbaloye, Channels Television News.
Well, in the meantime, the popularity of the president appears to be soaring, with the northwest zone of the People's Democratic Party endorsing him for a second term. A party passed a vote of confidence on President Goodluck Jonathan and Vice President Namadi Sambo, asking them both to recontest in 2015. Well, one of those seen as a key player in Edo politics, Chief Tommy Kimi, who recently dumped the All Progressives Congress, has formally rejoined the People's Democratic Party. At a meeting with the party's national chairman, Alhaji Adamawa, and the party's Board of Trustees chairman, Tony Aneni, Chief Kimi said he is rejoining a party he is already familiar with. He referred to Chief Aneni as an equally experienced politician whom he never had problems working with. The PDP leadership described his return as a good development that would enhance the fortunes of the party in Edo State and the nation at large. Well, 2 weeks ago, the national conference, attended by 494 delegates across the country and 6 officials, came to an end. Deputy Chairman of the conference, Professor Bolaji Akiyemi, told me in an interview how delegates debunked speculations of disintegration and arrived at unanimous recommendations to the 1999 Constitution in the end.
This conference was meeting at the time when Boko Haram had come onto the front burner with its religious connotations. Especially in the northern part of the country, where Christians felt they were no longer welcomed. Muslims felt that, some of these issues were being exaggerated. Yes, Boko Haram was preaching a particular type of ideology, but it was not really Islam, and now it's being used to pillory, Muslims. And we had to address those issues. So we set up a committee on religion. It's one of the 20 committees we set up. made up of, I think, 11 Muslims, 11 Christians. A Roman Catholic bishop as the co-chairman, and a member of the Nigerian Islamist Council as another co-chairman. And of course, everybody said that was going to be the first committee that was going to break up. Well, lo and behold, they came back with a report that was unanimously adopted by the committee. And some of their recommendations included criminalizing hate speeches that, preachers, whether Islamic fundamentalists or Christian fundamentalists, should not be allowed to attack people of other faith under freedom of religion. So that was the first boost of adrenaline that, hey, we want to a good thing. If at a point in time like this, a committee made up of equal number of Christians and Muslims can actually reach agreement.
Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. And in part two, after the break, Lagos State's governor asks governments to attend to the nation's rail lines if the coaches are to work well. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.